Hey guys, we're going to be really quick today. I think this is going to be about 15 minutes long, and I'll even do a Q&A at the end, but I just wanted to host kind of like an impromptu webinar or training on this new program, this new loan program that I just got access to last week. It required me to do about an hour and a half training. It's through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. So it's the down payment assistance program that I teach homebuyer education classes through here in the state of Washington. And a really good, addition to what they already have to offer is the Covenant Homeownership program. So in a real quick nutshell, I'm going to give a brief overview. And I'm also going to give the link to the website. So you as a real estate professional or a home buyer can go there to learn the kind of the why behind the what. So prior to 1968, and I mean, don't quote me on the act, Fair Housing Act. It focused on discrimination, and so what the Washington State Housing Finance Commission went and put some money into a research study to identify different ethnic groups that were discriminated against prior to 1968, and they were able to raise some funds to provide down payment assistance to those different groups. Now, the great thing about this, I learned the other day that there's about $18 to $20 million set aside for funding for this program. This program, and I'm going to get into this here in a second, which identifies the different ethnic groups that are eligible for this, but this program provides up to 20% down, 20% down up to $150,000 to be used toward down payment assistance. That could cover the down payment plus the closing costs. But I wanted to kind of frame what we're talking about today because this is different than the Washington State Housing Finance Commission Home Advantage program. Now, the other really cool thing we'll talk about here in a minute is you can use other down payment assistance programs on top of this one. So it's a unique program. I've had a couple of real estate agents reach out to me and ask about it already, and they were unfamiliar with it, and so they thought that it applied to everyone. No. So I'm going to jump in here real quick, and I'm going to give you a little bit more information on who exactly qualifies for it. I want to give you a little bit more information too on how to go about getting more information on this, how to get information in front of your clients. I think this is a great piece of information to send out on social media. I think this is a great loan program to send out to your past clients and just throw it out there. Much like this loan program, I'm approved and I do a fair amount of HUD 184 loans. That's for Native Americans. If you can show proof of being a Native American through your tribal ID card, there's specialized loan programs for those particular people. And so I send stuff out like that to my database, and I always get recommendations or referrals because of it. So I want to encourage you guys as real estate agents to do the same. So give me a one moment. I put together five slides, 5 real simple slides on this program. And we're going to run through them real quick. The first thing you have to understand, I've already talked about it, it's through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. So I teach homebuyer classes through the commission. You as real estate agents need to, if you want to do that, you can get licensed through the state. I'll send all the links out to you when I send the recording out on how to be an approved instructor, how to find out more information on this. There is a web page for it, but I wanted to make sure you did know that it's through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. Like I said, we're going to talk about 5 things. What is the program? There are parameters, so loan and income limits. Number 3, who's eligible? The required documents, because that could be tricky, okay? Because you need to prove that you are a part of that discriminated class, okay? And then I have the last slide is real simple. What to do next? What are the recommendations and next steps? So the first, about the Covenant Homeownership program through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission, provides down payment and closing cost assistance for first-time homebuyers. That's the key word. This one is for first-time homebuyers only in the form of a loan. So it's just like the other programs. You do have a loan, but it's at 0%. So let's say, for example, you're using the Home Advantage program right now, and you're getting $30,000 in down payment assistance. You finance $500,000, and then you have a $30,000 second at 0% interest. So there's no monthly payment on it. It's just simply paid off in full when you refinance or sell the house, okay? Hence the second bullet point, it's a 0% interest payment deferred loan. Okay, the eligible groups, this is it, you guys. This is what's important, okay? The eligible groups should include Black, Hispanic, Native American, Alaska Native American, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander, Korean, or Asian Indian, okay? Now, these are the groups through a research study, an extensive research study that they found with evidence were discriminated against in the Seattle or Washington state region, okay? So there's been a lot of questions when I've talked to real estate agents about this in the last couple of weeks, like, well, how did they come up with I don't know how they came up with the ethnic groups at all. What I do know is that they set the parameters through an extensive research study, and you can find out a ton more. I will give you the link to this, but you can find out a ton more. But the eligible groups, I'm going to repeat this and you can see it on your screen. Black, Hispanic, Native American, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian, other Pacific Islander, Korean, or Asian Indian are the groups that are part of this research study that have been allocated approval for down payment assistance. Okay, so how do you actually qualify for this? Okay, so this is important. You have to understand there are some qualifying parameters here. So here's what you get. Here's what those ethnic classes get if they qualify for a home loan to purchase a home. They get up to 20% down, not to exceed $150,000 at 0%. So that's really, really
Hey,
cool.
Ethan.
So here's an example.
Hey, Randy, did you
$600,000
call?
house.
I did, yeah.
20% down.
Hey, I've messaged.
600,000 with 20% down, it's $120,000, okay? So you've got, in addition to that, you have closing costs when you buy a house. So let's say there's $12,000 in closing costs. So 120 plus 12 is $132,000. Now we would submit that to the the Covenant Homeownership Program through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. And since it's under $150,000, they're eligible if they qualify for the home loan for the $132,000 in down payment assistance, okay? That's pretty cool. Now, part of the qualifying aspect of this is important. You have to qualify for it just like the Home Advantage program, all right? So there's a household income, max household income requirement, okay? So real estate agent, most lenders don't even know what this means. So I'm going to explain this to you as real estate agents, and hopefully you learn something. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, actually, the FHFA comes out every single year, and they have max county income limits for max county loan amounts for different counties across the United States of America, specific in Washington. Now, for down payment assistance programs, and for first-time homebuyer programs, a subset to that is max household income limits, and they set it through an AMI formula. AMI means area median income, okay? So you'll see that it's different for King County versus Snohomish County, for Skagit County, for Chelan County, for example, okay? All counties are different. They have different AMIs. So I just picked 5 of the top counties that I do mortgages in. And what I'm showing here on the screen, and what I want you to pay attention to, is 100% of the AMI. So the AMI, the area median income for King County, for example, is $147,400. Now there's some down payment assistance programs that only let you use 80% of the AMI. The great thing about this loan program is it lets you use 100% of the AMI. So what this means is that a borrower or a borrower and a co-borrower cannot exceed together $147,400 a year in annual income to qualify for this loan program. So let's say, for example, one partner makes 80, the other partner makes 30. Okay, you add $80,000, you add $30,000, and it's under the 147, so they qualify. Now you need to reverse engineer with your lender. This is what I do. And through their debt to income ratio, we now qualify them for a standard home loan. Now, the really great thing about this down payment assistance program, just like the others, you have FHA, you have VA, you have conventional, you have all these different loan programs to pre-approve or approve clients for, and then attach the down payment assistance to. So the AMI obviously is most in King County. Pierce County is $112,300. Snohomish County, right up there with King County. Skagit County, $102,800. Chelan County, about $100,000. Now, all of you guys on this webinar know that this is plenty of money to buy an entry-level home for first-time home buyers, okay? So there's nothing here that's really handcuffing first-time home buyers to buying their first home. Okay, so who's eligible? We just talked about the AMI. Number 2, you have to be a first-time home buyer. Okay, number 3, the home buyer, or get this, a parent, grandparent, great-grandparent has to have lived in Washington State prior to 1968, where that research study went and found that there was discrimination, okay? And so we'll get to it in a minute on how to actually go back and trace that. It's not complicated, but you do have to prove that you as a home buyer, most of the time, you guys, I've already sent this out to my database, and the feedback that I've received from some of the people that do actually qualify for this home loan is that I'm going to use my grandma and my grandpa and show that they were here in Washington State prior to 1968. And there you go. You just have to trace proof of living in, you have to have a lineage in Washington State in order to be eligible for this, okay? And then again, we already talked about who is eligible, okay? The person who lived in Washington State prior to April 1968 must have been, is Hispanic, Black, Native American, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander, Korean, or Asian Indian. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, okay? How do we provide the required documents to prove this? So you have to prove that you're a first-time home buyer. What is a first-time home buyer? You haven't owned real estate in the last 3 years, okay? You need to have a form of ID. So we're talking Washington State driver's license, ID, or passport, okay? The buyer must attend a homebuyer education certificate or a homebuyer education class to get a certificate. And all borrowers that are on the note and deed of trust must attend that class. I teach these monthly. You can go online and have them attend one otherwise, or you can do it online as well. Okay, this particular program requires you to turn in the home inspection to the lender, okay? And then the last one, this is the tricky part, okay? And this is where I think most real estate agents and lenders are gonna have a tough time. You're gonna have to have a conversation with the borrower about getting that proof of residency prior to 1968. So we need to show proof. That could be a birth certificate. It could be a death certificate from a great-grandparent, okay, or a grandparent. It could be service papers from the armed forces, anything that shows your ethnicity on it prior to 1968 here in Washington State. And then a real brief letter of explanation. Hey, my grandparents lived in King County, and yes, there was discrimination prior to 1968. They experienced it. They told me about it. You don't need to go into details, but something documenting the case, okay? Other documents. This is something that we just kind of talked about. Documents where there's evidence of the race of the person who meets the pre-1968 Washington residency requirement, okay? Again, it can be, it needs to be a parent, a grandparent. They want to keep it away from cousins, aunts, uncles, relatives like that, okay? Direct lineage. And then you need to show some sort of documentation showing your relationship to that parent or grandparent, okay? There's a brief statement, we talked about that, an LOA, brief. You don't have to go into detail about discrimination and location. And then AUS, that's the internal underwriting system that lenders go by. You need to show that they are approved for the home loan program. And then once they're approved for the home loan program, we move on. Now, in closing, you guys, this is what I recommend next. I'm going to bring this all together. I think if your clients, if your buyers, or if you're a buyer listening to this too, if you think that you qualify for this loan program, it's important that you're working with a professional that understands the program, okay, and understands how to have conversations around this program. This is, anytime you talk about discrimination, anytime you talk about race, it could be a tough topic to navigate. I've studied the Covenant Act. I'm going to give you guys a link to this act as well so you can learn about it. But it's important that you have a background of not only the act, but the research study when you're explaining this to a client. I think as a real estate professional, the way I would explain it is keep super surface level. Hey, I have a loan program that provides up to $150,000 and 0% down payment assistance. I want you to at least consider it or take a look at it, okay? It's literally free money, 0% interest. It's unbelievable. And kind of leave it, you can leave it at that. You can go into further, in a little bit more detail, but then hand it off to me to have that conversation with them. I've already had a couple of conversations and the people wanted the down payment assistance, but they didn't belong to the ethnic groups that were discriminated against, or they could not prove it. And so it's like, I'm sorry. That's just, it is what it is, and you can't cheat the system there. Okay, so number one, I recommend that you have your buyers, or if you're listening to this and you're a home buyer, connect with a Covenant homeownership loan specialist like myself. Number two, make sure your borrowers attend a commission-sponsored homebuyer education class. One, it's required, but number two, like I said, I teach these every single month. They get a ton out of that, and I'm going to be adding this loan program to our slide deck to teach in the class, okay? Number three, make sure that your closings are about 30 days. I'd say in our office, 20 to 30 days, so pretty standard there. And then the last thing, all of our clients are fully pre-approved and pre-underwritten up front, all right? So there's no worry about them not qualifying for a home loan. The biggest thing is making sure they qualify for this particular loan program or this down payment assistance, and that's what we would do up front before they actually go out shopping. So the last one, let us do our due diligence up front, sit back, relax, that's a typo, relax, and let the Dan Keller team drive us all into escrow. Now, what I want to do real quick, I want to share another screen with you guys so you can see how this will look. Give me 1 second, because I think this one is, all of you guys can go to this, and I'm going to provide the link, but this is the Covenant Homeownership Program webpage, okay? There's a flyer here. I'm actually having a custom flyer made that I'll send out to you guys. You can put your information on there, but this frequently asked questions, it tells you everything you need to know about the program. I would encourage you guys to go down and read about the act. It's down near the bottom right here, the research study. I think if there's an executive summary, you can read the bullet points here. You can read everything, the study's recommendations, the funding, and everything. But guys, before you go out and talk to potential home buyers about this program, I want to encourage you to learn a little bit more about it. But that's it. I told you I wanted to keep it to about 15 minutes. I think it was 16. All of you guys on here, any of you guys have questions for me real quick that I can answer? If not, I'll go ahead and send the link. I'll send the slides out to you guys. I'll send you the link to the Covenant page. And then obviously I'm here as a resource down the road, but any of you guys have questions for now? Going once, going twice. Well, good. Go out and get this information out to your clients. I'm here if you guys need anything. I think this is an awesome program, or I wouldn't be making this and I wouldn't be drawing so much attention to this. I like free money and I like discounts, and up to $150,000, 0% interest. Our clients could do a lot with that. So hope you guys are well. Reach out if you need anything, and stay tuned for an email with all of this information. I'll have this out to you today. All right. Bye for now, you guys.
Thanks, Dan.
You got it.